Welcome to Trigger Sunder. Here we are with Comrade Brinda Karat, CPIM Politburo member. Hello ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
My basic question is, why CPIM always criticizes BJP and Modi?
Well, if somebody or a government or an individual does something which is praiseworthy, which helps people, which helps the country, certainly we will be the first to acknowledge it. But if a Prime Minister and the government he heads is hell-bent on destroying the Constitution of India, in dividing the people, in helping the rich, in increasing inequalities and causing a huge crisis in the economy, driving it into a period of recession, then certainly we have to criticize it. We have to criticize it. We have to expose those policies. We have to fight those policies, and we have to present an alternative, which is what we do.
Why is your party opposing CAA and NRC?
See, the CAA and the NRC and the NPR, we cannot see each in isolation. This is like a trident, like a trishul, not a dharmic trishul, but it's like a trishul hitting at the heart of India. Because for the first time in our history, citizenship or a person applying for citizenship for India is linked with his or her religious belief. India is a secular country. It has a secular constitution. We cannot decide citizenship on the basis of religion.
Are NRC and CAA against one religion or the constitution?
It is an attack on the constitution in the name of religion. It is not a Hindu-Muslim issue. Although the BJP and the RSS and all their Sangh Parivar members try to pose it as a Hindu-Muslim issue, the fact is that although Muslims are the target of the BJP, in fact, it is an attack on the heart of India because it affects our constitution. They say this is only to do with outsiders. Indian citizens are not affected. That is their main argument. But if it is for outsiders, then you are looking at outsiders also according to their religion. Why? After all, it was Swami Vivekananda in 1882 who said that I am proud I belong to a nation which has given refuge and shelter to people of all religions and all nations who are persecuted. So that is India. That is our constitution. You cannot say you are a Muslim, no, you cannot become a citizen of India even if you are persecuted. Why? How can you say that? You can't differentiate like that. So this is the first step towards the BJP RSS agenda of a theocratic state, building a Hindu Pakistan.
If people are suffering with this NRC and CAA, why PM Modi brings this act?
They have brought this act basically for two reasons. One, it is very much part of their Hindutva agenda. This is the crux of it. And ever since Modi has been re-elected with a bigger majority, he has misused that majority to push the Hindutva agenda, step by step, stage by stage. And this is a very, very significant step for them to link citizenship with religion. So that is the first reason they are doing it. The second is, it is a very convenient tool to divide people. The basic issues of unemployment, the basic issues of price rise, of food security, of homelessness, the huge impact of recession on different sections of Indian people, all that is pushed aside. And now they are talking about this aspect only to divide the people.
In every 10 years, there will be census counting. Why CPIM opposing NPR?
You see, we are not opposing the census. We should be very clear about that. The census is collection of data, socio-economic data, which is allowed to be used by law only for the census. That's it. Cannot be used for anything else. And we are not opposing the census. What they have done is, they are, according to the amended law of the Citizenship Act in 2003, for the first time under Advani ji and Vajpayee ji's government, they made an amendment which mandated the National Population Register as the first stage towards a register of Indian citizens. And what was the meaning of it? As an Indian, I am asked to prove that I am an Indian. Why is that necessary? I have an Aadhaar card, I may have a passport, I may have land ownership papers, I have a ration card, I am a voter, I have an electoral right. It's with my votes that Modi ji, and today he is saying that an electoral voter card is not enough for your identity. So there's no need for a National Register of Citizens. The only reason to have a National Register of Citizens, the first stage of which is the NPR, is to harass the vulnerable people. And if you look at it, the NPR has two stages. One, they will come to your house and ask you questions. Now they have added questions to it. Your mother's name, your mother's birth date, your mother's place of birth, similarly for your father.
Are they required in census?
That is not required in the census for it. Not at all. You don't have to provide any such proof. Not at all. Census is those who are there, living there. This is what? This is for a different purpose. The census questionnaire and the NPR questionnaire are two different questionnaires. The NPR questionnaire has been expanded from 15 questions to 21 questions. And precisely those questions have been added by Amit Shah's Home Ministry, which has harassed 19 lakh people in Assam. Now, if I ask you, and I don't like you, I don't like your face, I don't like your religion, I don't like your culture, I don't like your language, and I put D against your name when I come.
If D is there, what will the consequences?
D means doubtful citizen. They'll put a black mark.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Then you will be called to the Tehsildar's office. And they will say, these are the answers of the NPR. We are not satisfied with this. So produce the documents. So you will have to produce the documents. Now, most of the poor in our country, especially Adivasis, Dalits, poorer people, migrant workers, what documents do we have? We don't have documents. If you ask me to produce my mother's birth certificate, I can't do it. And how much money is going to be spent in this futile exercise, which is only going to hit the most vulnerable people? That is why we say it is targeting Muslims, but the impact is going to be felt by poor people, and the impact is going to be felt by the Constitution of India.
There is a statement from Indian Home Ministry and IB. There is a threat to PM Narendra Modi. Is this correct? What is your answer?
A threat to PM Modi? If there is a threat to PM Modi, they have to deal with that threat. Why should they have to make it public? They want to make it public only for political reasons. Elections are around the corner. Every time there are elections, they'll start this propaganda. Definitely, if there's a threat to our Prime Minister, we have to ensure proper security for him. There's no doubt about it. But why are you making it public? You want to make it a political point in the campaign. It's ridiculous.
If Chowkidar in threat, who will secure India?
That's a very good question. The fact of the matter is that the security of India is being damaged less by external forces and more by those who are sitting in government today. What is the guarantee for the security of India? India has always been secure when its people have been united. It is people's unity. It is the pluralist cultures of India which are reflected in the Constitution of India, which are under attack by the Modi government. That is why I say the threat to our security is a threat which emanates from division among the people of India. And it is the Modi government, the BJP and the RSS, and their like-minded political forces who are trying to divide the people of India. And that is a threat, I believe, to the security of India, because it weakens India. It weakens us. In our history, it is always when we have been internally divided that others can take advantage of us.
What is the most dangerous to India, fascism or economical crisis?
They're both linked. See, the attack on democracy, the attack on secularism, the division of people allows them a free run to hand over the natural resources of India, the wealth created by the workers and peasants of India, to the corporates. I mean, just look how obscene inequalities have grown during Modi's regime. Not that there were no inequalities or wrong policies earlier under the Congress government. Certainly there were. Under the UPA government, certainly there were. But this is a much more aggressive form of it, because now they have a large majority, so they can do what they want, and they are doing what they want. And what they want is to hand over India, to sell India to their friends, to their crony capitalist friends, whether they are foreign capital or whether it is the big Indian corporates who they choose as their friends. So that is why I believe that the dangers to our people are multiple. In the economic front, in the front of social justice, and also on the very basic issues of democratic rights. Federalism. Today, federal rights are totally under attack. Look at what is happening with state governments. They are being starved of funds. They are being reduced to being beggars with bowls in the Delhi Darbar. Why? This is not the constitutional framework. And look at the contempt with which Modi and Shah speak about state governments, the rights of state governments. These are dictators, there's no doubt about it, and therefore we fight them.
In several states, BJP lost their power. What is the indication of this?
I think never before have we seen such an unexpected flash, not just a flash, a sustained protest movements against the government. Look at the January 8th strike of the workers. It was the most historic strike involving around 20 crore workers and also Kisans who joined the workers in support of the workers' strike. It was the most historic action. What does that show? It shows that within 6 months of coming to power with a big majority, people of India have seen that the Modi government is using its majority for a very small coterie of people and to push its toxic communal agenda. So people are understanding this, people are protesting. Look at the Adivasi seats in Jharkhand. 28 Adivasi seats, ST reserve seats. BJP lost 26 of them. What does that show? It shows that the Adivasis whose land was sought to be snatched away by the BJP through amending the protections of the constitution and the laws to protect Adivasis, the Adivasis reacted against them and they voted them out. This is a very significant issue. In Delhi, the coming elections in Delhi, no doubt about it, BJP is going to lose. And the more they try and whip up this false and fake nationalism, now their latest slogan is what? Protesters are saying, Jinnah wali azadi. What utter nonsense. This is what their trolls in the media are trying to spread. Where is the proof? Who has said it? Where is it said? What does Jinnah wali azadi mean? Jinnah wali azadi was for the two-nation theory. But who first spoke about the two-nation theory? Before Jinnah, it was V.D. Savarkar. It is the forefather of those who are sitting in Delhi today, who do pranam before V.D. Savarkar every morning. It is they who supported the two-nation theory. So they just simply manufacture lies and slogans to try and confuse the people. And every time they speak now, when they take the name India, they always hyphenate it with Pakistan. Why? Why give undue importance to our neighbor? So I think they are getting quite upset and by this huge protests which are taking place, and they are not succeeding in their attempt to make it a Hindu-Muslim issue.
Okay, Brinda, what is your comment on JNU attack?
JNU attack at three levels. One, the attack which comes from the new education policy to raise fees of students who are living in the hostel. Who lives in the hostel? They are students who come from outside Delhi who are, because JNU and the way that the JNU admissions have been conceived and implemented originally and always by the left in JNU, by the first students union, the second students and the third, they are the ones who actually formed the admission policy along with the administration in those days. So a large number of poorer sections of students come. Now if you raise the fees of the students, who's going to study there? So that was the first point, the fee hike. The second point was the protests and the role of the Vice Chancellor appointed by the BJP RSS precisely to destroy a premier institution like JNU, which is totally made in India. So it was the role of the administration. And the third, the way they planned it, just like Hitlerite gangs, just like Hitler, they came from outside, they were masked, they came with arms, they came under the patronage of the Delhi police, who is directly under Amit Shah, the Home Minister, not under Delhi government, under the Home Ministry of India. They had free access to come. For 4 hours, there was a rampage by armed, masked men and a few women belonging to the Sangh Parivar against students of JNU. Until today, there has not been a single arrest of any of those men. In fact, we welcome the High Court because the High Court has given a very balanced and sensible order which upholds the right to accessible education to students, and that is definitely going to help JNU to fight back this fee hike.
In most of central universities, left and social forces combination got victories in student elections. Are you continuing this combination in general elections?
Generally, getting away from electoral politics, we do believe that undoubtedly the left and social forces representing Dalits, Adivasis, marginalized communities, no doubt they should be and they are natural allies. But it must be on a platform which fights for economic and social justice against capitalism. Because we have seen social justice movements in the North, how they degenerated into just caste-based movements. That will be disastrous for the left if that happens.
Left got victories in student elections. Why not in general elections?
Oh, they're two entirely different things. Totally different. I mean, today general elections, and it's been totally subverted by corporate money. The huge amount of money which is spent, and the huge amount of money which is spent in social media also to capture the media, to capture people's minds. I don't think poor parties like ours, financially poor, not ideologically poor, but financially poor parties, the way the present electoral system is configured, it really is definitely not a level playing field. There's nothing democratic about it because the Election Commission is really not doing its job also. as far as ensuring that the limits of the money that you can spend is done. For example, any political party can spend any amount of money. Now, you think about it. Today, the electoral bond system, in which the BJP is getting thousands of crores of rupees. Just in the last tranche, it got more than 6,000 crore rupees for one election. Who can compete with that? And there are no restrictions to its expenditure. So I believe that we are now in an era in which parliamentary democracy is being transformed into corporate-led democracy, corporate-driven democracy, money-driven democracy. And that's, that's a contradiction in terms. How can you have corporates and democracy in the same breath? But that is what is happening in India. And that is led by the Modi-Shah government. And therefore I believe that the transformation of public support in struggles into votes is becoming more and more difficult for us. I believe the issue of electoral reforms is very, very critical if we want to save parliamentary democracy. It's not a question of, oh, because you're losing, you're saying these things. No, we are winning also in many areas. But the point is this, that when parliamentary democracy itself becomes so vulnerable to subversion, then obviously you need a set of electoral reforms which will at least provide some protection to our systems.
Okay, Comrade Brinda, your party united all left parties in Nepal and that combination got victory. Why don't you do same in India?
It's not our party in Nepal. The Nepal Communist Party is the circumstances of Nepal, they believed were conducive for a merger of the two parties. In India, that is not on the agenda. In India, our main effort is to ensure that we have left unity so that we can move together on some of the basic and fundamental issues facing the people of India. I think all this talk of merger, it just takes away from the requirement today for the left to stand together in all the struggles which we are fighting.
Let's start rapid fire. One word answer. One word about RSS.
The RSS to me means Rashtriya Sarvanash Samiti.
One word about women's security in India.
It is at its lowest, and that is because those who are attackers of women have political patronage by those in power.
One word about Chowkidar.
A Chowkidar is somebody we should trust.
One word about Nirmala Sitharaman.
Well, being the first woman finance minister, we had hoped that she would do specific issues to help the large section of women in India, but on the contrary, women's employment and women's jobs and women's status is very low today, according to their own government statistics.
One word about future India.
I believe the future of India is bright because the way young people are coming out on the streets, the way women are coming out in protest, it can only be a bright future.
Finally, this is 71st Republic Day. What will you say to the nation?
I believe that it is a real tribute to the founders of the Constitution that hundreds of thousands of people all over India today are standing together in defense of the basic principles of secularism, democracy and federalism in our Constitution. And hundreds of thousands of people will be reading the preamble of the Constitution today to save the Constitution and to save India.
Thank you, Comrade Brinda. This is special interview with Comrade Brinda. Keep watching T10.
ఈ వీడియో మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. ఇలాంటి మరిన్ని అప్డేట్స్ కోసం మన ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసి కింద కనిపిస్తున్న బెల్ బటన్ని క్లిక్ చేయండి.